Hey everybody, thank you for joining me here and happy Wednesday. You know what that means. It is time to allow some spirit wisdom to flow through. If you are new to me, I just want to introduce myself and welcome you to the healing space. My name is Meredith with the Healing Hummingbird LLC.com. And what I love to do with my heart-centered business is help healers and givers reclaim their power, receive healing, and transform their lives in the way of the hummingbird, which involves lots of joy and beautiful lightness of being. Now today, Spirit wanted to change it up and talk about something that might feel a little bit heavier, but I assure you that there is plenty of opportunity to lighten your load and to flip the script into something that's really positive and light and beautiful. So if you are here, I would love to see a comment so I could say hello to you. And feel free to give this video a like or a love, because I have a feeling a lot of us gathered here today could use a lot of love with each other. And in case any of you watching are energetically sensitive or you just know me very well, I might seem a little bit different today. And it's because things are different today. I've experienced a lot of shadow coming up in a relationship with a dear, dear family member, and I've really been going through it. But I am just so dedicated to this, and I'm dedicated to spirit, not my ego, not my emotional body. And I want to demonstrate to you that it is possible, even if your emotional body is purging and is going through a lot, it is possible to show up and just channel spirit and keep the vibration really high. So I really like to be transparent and authentic. So I just wanted to let you guys know that's happening, and it can feel kind of heavy, but we're going to get through it. We've got some talking points here, but honestly, I'm not sure if I'll be able to get through all of it. So I might just channel in kind of a different way. But I have my medicine bundle open to invite you to share some of that beautiful energy. It's almost like a little healing portal when it's open. And we're going to be working with Kuyas today, which are sacred healing stones. Hello, everybody. I'm already seeing beautiful comments pouring through. Lola, Dawn, Connie, Merlin, thank you all so much for joining me here live. Okay, so healing the shadow in relationships can be really, really tough. You might notice that the same things are coming up over and over again, or things might seem okay, but then it just seems like the same conversation is happening, or the same fight, or the same interaction. So Spirit wanted to talk about why that's happening and what we can do to change it. So the first and loudest point that Spirit wanted to make is that boundaries are sacred. Now, you might be dealing with someone who doesn't understand that, and that's okay. It's not our job to teach them that, the importance of boundaries, but Spirit wants to assure you that if someone does not understand your boundaries or are triggered by them, sometimes it can be really upsetting, it doesn't seem to make any sense, you know what I'm saying? But Spirit is saying that if that's happening to you and you're experiencing this, someone who doesn't understand your boundaries, it means that that person literally does not have boundaries for themselves at all, which is pretty dangerous in a way if you think about it. So just know that it's not you, it's not any statement towards you, it's really them not understanding that boundaries are sacred and that they're healthy and very, very necessary in literally any situation ever. So Spirit really wanted to make that very clear. And let's say the pattern that is occurring is some kind of negative interaction. They wanted to talk about your emotional body or ego being triggered, because once you get used to observing your reactions rather than being driven by them, you can feel when your emotional body is activated. And so Spirit's saying, okay, let's get curious about this, because then we can figure out what shadow aspect is being highlighted, what's being flared up and why. And when we figure that out, and we start to heal ourselves, our subconsciousness will stop trying to replay it over and over and over again. Because, and a couple really great people who talk about this is the Four Agreements. I know they talk about this there. And also Eckhart Tolle. I know I've mentioned him a lot, but this is just, you know, being in touch with the present moment and not being ruled by your emotions and reactions. But humans are really logical creatures, big brains, right? So the ego loves to try to psychoanalyze and make sense of things. And what happens if you do not feel like it is acceptable to ask for clarification? Maybe or maybe an experience in your life has made you feel like, oh, that would be kind of a weird question to ask. You start to make stories in your mind. And this is a super normal thing to do. It's a human thing to do. It's just part of being alive and interacting with each other. And you're trying to understand what's going on with yourself and with them. But what happens then is it just creates this just like cesspool of miscommunication and assumptions. And when I can tell you from personal experience, let me just let you know, when someone reveals to you a narrative that they have made up and it's not true, it is like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you've been feeling like that. That doesn't even make any sense to me. And it can really just blow your mind, but that's just part of being a human. And the more aware of this that we are, the better it can be. Because just imagine you have two people involved and you're both making up stories that don't align. Whoa. But if one of you is aware of this and says, okay, well, I'm not going to make any assumptions, I'm not going to take anything personally, I'm just going to see what this person has to say. Or maybe you get brave and you start asking them questions like, hey, I didn't really understand that. Could you clarify that for me? That introduces a sanity and a spiritual presence into that relationship that was not there before. And it gives this other person an opportunity to go, oh my gosh. And it's an invitation. Now they may not take it, it's up to them, but that is something that Spirit wanted to acknowledge and invite us to do, which is really, really beautiful. And also something else they wanted to talk about is soul agreements. So what happens before we come to earth, before we get our earthly bodies, is that, especially with really important relationships, so this could be like romantic or family, we will make agreements with each other on the other side. Hey, in this next life, I really need to work on boundaries. Would you like to work together? What lessons are you learning? And then the other soul goes, oh, I also need to work on self-worth and boundaries as well. Let's help each other. Let's teach each other these lessons in this lifetime. So Spirit wants us to remember that even though it is so hard, and believe me, I'm right there with you. I'm there right now. I'm sure you can tell. It is so hard not to take things personally in a one-on-one relationship. But Spirit's like, it's really not personal. None of it is. None of it, literally. We've signed these contracts and say, great, I'd love to help you this time around. Sometimes things just need to play out like that so that we help each other's souls grow and learn across lifetimes. Let's see here. Oh, and a therapist told me a long, long time ago that we play out our unhealed stories the loudest in relationships. And I have got to say, she is right. And that was, that was like maybe 5 years ago. And boy, was she right. I think about her every once in a while. And I'm like, damn, that was a heavy hitting message. And, if you're sensitive to language, just know I'm kind of raw today, so I might cuss a couple times, but it's all good. It just needs to come out, And that's another thing that Spirit wanted to talk about, is being aware of the complexities of our identity, of our spirit, of our consciousness. And that you, the sacred you are so much more than this body walking around on the earth. You are not your thoughts. Thoughts just come and go. It's part of having a brain. And you're not your emotions either. You're not your history either. And so to remember that you are the observer, and part of having a body, part of being alive and having an experience, is knowing that the emotional body is going to have to purge. It has to feel, it has to experience and let go. So it's really, really important, if you feel pissed off, let yourself be pissed off without having to go, oh, what's wrong with me? Why am I reacting this way? You know, you really don't have to break it down like that. Just go, okay, my emotional body is having an experience. What can I do to be kind to myself, to love myself, and to help myself release it? Last night for me, that meant a salt bath, big old salt bath with a meditation. And it really, really did help. It helped me sleep because I don't know about you guys, when I have emotional stuff going on, my solar plexus really tightens, which means my stomach is like in knots, and it's like hard to eat, it's hard to sleep, and it's like this nauseating pit in your stomach. I don't know if you guys feel that, but for some reason, Spirit wanted to talk about that just being really normal. It's just normal with processing emotions, and it's good. It's good to go ahead and process as it's happening, if at all possible. We don't want to leave it for decades and then go, oh, I never mourned for this, 30 years later. A lot of people do that, but Spirit wants to let you know that it's safe to just go ahead and let yourself feel the feelings as you need to. Get in the car and yell if you need to, you know what I'm saying? Write stuff down in a journal, drink lots of water. That's another thing they wanted to mention. And then I think the most important thing that has come up in my recent interactions is that remember when someone is triggered, and boy, they will let you know if they are triggered, they really will, you are no longer speaking to them. You're speaking to their wounds. You're no longer speaking to them, that sacred consciousness. You're speaking to their wounds and their old stories. So a narrative that they have invented, perhaps, I know because of my childhood, I have an abandonment imprint. But the more aware of it I am, the more I can see it pop up and go, oh, that's an old story. I'm just going to let that go because, it doesn't need to always be about abandonment. It doesn't. And the more you do your work, the less the subconscious will bring it up over and over again. So let's say, for example, someone has a victim imprint. They will start to construct stories where they are victimized everywhere. They always have to be the victim, right? That's how it works, because maybe they have not evolved past that whenever they were victimized, and that's what everything has to become, because that's what their brain is familiar with. That's what the brain loves, familiar things. So if you challenge that and they no longer feel like a victim, they are triggered, they're lit up, and they have to come up with a new way to be the victim again. And it's not your job to fix that. It's not your job to hold their hand and walk them through that. It is totally fine and necessary to tell someone to back the fuck off if you need to. Sometimes you just have to. And I'm a Sagittarius, so I always tell it how it is. And I just feel like that's truly loving somebody, is telling them the truth. The truth does not have a side. The truth is the truth. So if I truly love someone, I don't want to help them keep going with these narratives that are hurting themselves and hurting other people. Does that make sense? That's something that Spirit wanted me to share. And let's see. Yeah, and to recognize that our imprints are our own. And if we are both triggered and fighting with each other, it's like, a victim trying to fight with someone who needs to feel abandoned, which I know I have that. So I do my best to just dispel that and not let that come through at other people. And, people getting together, and this is something else they want to talk about as well. And they're showing it like a braid. Like sometimes if you have an old story or an imprint that needs to be worked out, but you're not consciously working on it, the subconscious will, and it will attract another person who has a complementary story, so that you can constantly trigger each other and be in like this narcissist empath kind of dynamic, which is, again, it's totally normal. It's not like, you know, spirit wants to say you messed up or you're wasting all your time. They're just saying this is part of just being alive and being a human. But if we can bring more awareness to the situation, the patterns will stop. You can say, okay, I've learned this lesson. I'd love to not learn it the hard way again. Or I'm going to hold my boundaries. I really, really am. And spirit goes, okay, awesome. And, you know, you might get another test by a person in your life who's not used to you having boundaries. But again, it's not your job to baby them and explain to them what it is. Just respectfully and neutrally do the thing, and spirit's got your back. And that's the most important thing that we can actually do to address these patterns, is to realize how sacred you are, your sacred awareness. You are the observer. You're not your thoughts, you're not your emotions, and you're not your history. And just bringing that sanity, like we talked about earlier, into conversations, that's another way, another action that we can take to help this, to stop this from occurring over and over and over again. Because if you're anything like me, I mean, I've observed people in my life having the same argument for decades, and it goes nowhere. So we really want to stop that from happening, or resolve it at a certain point. Maybe you have been brought into the family to resolve it. Maybe you're the one who's going to stop the pattern. And Spirit's also inviting me to share a couple specific realizations that I've had in my life. And it's not easy, but I am really dedicated to you, and healing is more important to me than anything. It's more important than my ego. So I'm going to share it. This is tough. Just a fair warning. They shared with me a couple days ago that you really should be careful. Don't ever let yourself believe that you are a special exception to someone's proven historic behavior, because you're not. And that really hurts. And it's not that you're not special, because you are. Your sacred awareness, what could be more special than that? But whoever is doing this, they are choosing their story over people. They're choosing stories over themselves. If someone needs to feel victimized, and that's more important than loving you, you deserve to know that. And it really sucks, and it hurts, and it's really disappointing. But, you know, you just have to remember, you're not speaking to that person. That's not who they really are. They're caught up in a story. They're caught up in a pattern that they either do not want to heal at this time, or they don't plan to heal it in this lifetime. And some people will make that decision. And again, that really sucks, but there's just not much you can do about it to change their mind. Now, you can always remove yourself and heal yourself, which of course is the best thing that could come out of that. But as a sensitive person, as an empath, I've come across that a couple times, maybe more than a couple, in relationships that have been really big and important in my life. I just fell for the story that I'm special. You know, you might observe someone being really, really cruel to other people. Or maybe they have a habit of getting in really toxic fights, or cutting people off, or maybe they have a flair for the dramatic and they have to make a big scene. And it could go 30 years without them doing it to you. And I just want to let you know, not to cut ties with them or dread it or anything, but just to be aware You're not an exception because it has nothing to do with you. It's their story. It's their pattern that they're doing. They're doing something to protect themselves, and it's frankly only a matter of time that they might do it to you. And again, that's not anything to like scare you or be sad. It's just an understanding of the human condition. And I observed that firsthand, and that's okay. But something else that they wanted to bring up, which is really specific, but for some reason they did want me to bring it up, is that paintings and photographs are portals. And sometimes you have to deal with that. So let's say there was a painting or a photograph that was composed or taken at a certain time, and it had a certain energy attached to it, like a really positive intention. If something sours to the point where it feels just like toxic and sickening, you need to deal with that painting and you need to deal with that photograph. And it's to honor the connection, it's to dispel the energy and invite peace and love into the situation. And just know that the other person may not understand that, but again, that's not really super important. It's spirit wants to help you out. So I don't know if that's a specific situation that someone else here might be in with a photograph or a painting. I was in that situation, and I dealt with it with my spirit guides to try to just cleanse that, close the portal, and seal it with golden love and light. So I do apologize if that felt a little bit heavy, but I just want to keep it real with y'all. And that's what the shadow can feel like sometimes. It can feel really triggering, but just knowing that you can take your time, you can breathe through it, allow yourself to feel and express. That's so important. And to honor the sacred being that you are. You matter. Your boundaries matter. You really, really do. And the boundaries really are sacred. And my heart goes out to you. For some reason, Spirit just wanted to talk to everybody about this. But today, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Mercury is no longer retrograde. So maybe that'll clear some stuff up. Holy shit. That would be great, wouldn't it? But okay, so let me just check in with you guys before we do our week ahead readings. Oh, Connie says, boy, do I need this. Apparently I did too. I announced the topic before all this happened. So I was like, wow, okay. Great to know. Okay. Let's see here. Lola says, I'm removing myself from my rude neighbor at the end of the year. In the meantime, he's being an asshole to the max. Yeah, I've had some asshole neighbors as well. So for you, Lola, if you visualize, or if you're clairvoyant, sorry, that's a better word for that, isn't it? Spirit's talking about sealing the walls of your home from the inside with golden light, just to make sure that there isn't any of that like seeping in, because you want to protect your sacred space and really protect yourself at night when you're sleeping as well, so you're not conditioned by any of that. Oh, thank you, Connie. She says, thank you for opening up. It really resonates with me. That means a lot to me because it's scary to put it out there, but I mean, we're all human beings too, so we might as well be there for each other and just really put it out there. Okay, so let's make sure I'm all updated here. Okay, awesome. So what we're going to do, I have Kuyas here to pick from, which are sacred healing stones. And I will invite you to take a couple deep breaths with me here to get ready for our week ahead reading. So you just want to take a deep breath in. Let it float at the top and exhale it out. Breathe lots of love in. And even more love out. And invite your spirit guides to come near you now and ask them which group holds your message for the week ahead. You could see a number, 1, 2, or 3. You could hear, feel, or just know. which number it is. Or if you're visual like I am, you could find the following healing stones very helpful to look at. So here's the first one for group number 1. Group number 2, I believe this is called Chrysocolla or something like that. And group number 3, we have a mottled Lapis Lazuli. Okay, group number 1, if you chose the first crystal, let's get your week ahead message. What would be most helpful for you to know for the following week, Spirit? For group number 1, for group number 1, they're already talking about things coming back from the past. So that could be a person or a memory coming into play, perhaps a cycle like we were just talking about. Ooh, and they're saying, they're talking about something coming out of the closet as well, like a skeleton in the closet. Okay, group number 1, first you have the Page of Cups. You have the 10 of Cups and the 2 of Pentacles. Okay. So they're bringing up this goal that you've had of a harmonious family life. And they're saying you either have it right now or you're about to, which is really, really beautiful. And they're also bringing up this juggling that you're doing. This could be work and home or work and school, or maybe even 2 jobs. It feels career related, something that you're juggling to make it happen. They're talking about this idea that I have to earn this amount of money in order for my family to be comfortable and happy. And Spirit's letting you know that that's not the only way, and to be aware of when you're experiencing burnout. And they want to remind you that you don't have to be superhuman in order to have a happy, peaceful life. And they're also talking about sweet messages coming your way this week, group number 1. So you might have someone reach out to you and tell you that they love you, or that they've been thinking about you, that they're really grateful for you as well. And they're also talking about kind of like daydreaming. So maybe you are kind of a daydreamer, group number 1. But Spirit's letting you know that sometimes in those daydreams, especially when you let yourself really go far off from the present moment, sometimes Spirit is talking to you, like giving you ideas. So even if something seems super outlandish, I'm getting something about like a trip or traveling or something like that. Maybe you have no idea how that's possible, or it like the funds aren't here or the time's not here right now. Spirit's saying it will be in the future if you want it to be. So they're wanting you to bring your daydreams into a state of manifestation with them, which is really exciting. Let's see. They want me to pull out a different deck as well for a guidance card for you, group number 1. I'm also getting that angels are around you, or maybe you've been working with a specific angel lately. That could just be confirmation that you've picked the right group, is that they wanted to talk about angels. Okay. And in this deck, you got Winter. And it's taking care of your needs. So this is letting you know, Spirit's letting you know, they're talking about having some kind of plan in place for yourself. This could be some kind of safety protocol. This could be like a financial backup plan. This could be a plan for retirement. This could be a lot of different things. But Spirit's letting you know that holding those boundaries, let's say, for example, it's financial. Let's say you're saving for retirement or you're concerned about that. Spirit is saying, they're inviting you to think of it less as an obligation and more as a sacred boundary for yourself, and saying, this is a way for me to feel protected and comfortable and know that I have my own back. Spirit always has your back. But they are advocating for you in this case to, if you're thinking of planning something or upholding plans or investing in something, they're telling you it's a good idea to do that. And they're talking about things that might feel like mundane responsibilities, like looking at utilities in your home. They're making me feel like I just want to make sure everything's working okay, like my AC and my heating units are okay, or my fans. Maybe you have a window AC unit you want to make sure is okay and in there really sturdily. And also the car as well, just watching over things just to make sure that everything is super solid is what they're talking about. And it's a way to take care of yourself. It's like wrapping yourself in a beautiful blanket of safety and security and awareness, saying, I lovingly wrap my possessions and everything around me in pure love and light and purified source energy. So it's not like a fear thing, like, oh man, I'm scared something's going to fall apart. It's not like that at all. And I feel like there's something else in here for you, group number 1. Okay. We've got 2. You got the Fire Guardian, Ignite Your Passions, and the Direction Guardian. So this is something special that I do with my decks. I will pick a yes and a no card. So group number 1, if you're with this crystal and one of the things you had on your mind was a yes or a no answer, the answer is no. So that might only be like 1 or 2 people here, but I know when I've had readings in the past, if that happens, it's like, oh, I'm so glad I got a quick answer. But they're talking about taking agency over your life and not letting that quell your fiery nature. Maybe you are somebody who's kind of like a firecracker or really sassy. And I can be like that too. And I know that kind of mundane things can seem really heavy or annoying if your personality is similar to mine. But Spirit's saying, think of it as if you are making room. You're holding a boundary, like a beautiful white picket fence in a field, and that you're this beautiful unicorn and that you can just like run around and do whatever you want inside, knowing that everything within it is perfectly safe and happy. So group number 1, I hope that resonated with you, and I will see you next time. Okay. Group number 2. If you resonated with group number 2 and the Chrysocolla, hopefully I'm saying that right, full disclosure, I don't know. Let's see what your week ahead message is. All right. For group number 2, Spirit, what would be the most helpful thing for us to know for group number 2 for their week ahead? Okay. I do feel like some of you in group number 2 might be looking for something. Maybe something's gone missing. And I feel like you'll either find it this week or find a way around not having this thing that you're needing. You might be waiting on like a piece of information for someone. Like if you work in an office, sometimes you have to wait for someone to respond with something. and you're like, well, I can't complete this task until they respond to me. If that's you, group number 2, I feel like you're going to get an answer this week, and you'll be able to move forward with something that might have been kind of frustrating. Let's see. Okay, group number 2, starting off with the Knight of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles. Love her. And the Hierophant. I love this deck. This is the, if I didn't say it, it's the Light Seers deck, or the Light Seers deck, Light Seers Tarot by Chris Ann. I love her decks. Okay. So let's see what we have for group number 2. Okay. So with group number 2, I'm feeling like kind of torn in 2 different directions. So maybe there is a decision that you're making, or you're not sure, should I move forward with this idea, or should I just take a time out and see how it goes? Or, okay, maybe there's 3 options. Should I consult somebody and ask them for an opinion of what I need to do? Ask an expert. And I'm feeling like it's the latter that would best serve your energy as it feels at the moment. The energy feels a little scattered and a little kind of circular. Like, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do. You might keep thinking that to yourself, which is making it difficult to move forward. So Spirit is saying, if you'd like to consult an expert or someone who's trusted to you, they're saying that would be a good thing to do. It would help you feel better, but just know that it's okay to take a time out and wait for a couple days until your energy feels more even to make this decision. So I'm feeling like out of those 3 options, go ahead, consult someone, or wait. They're saying 2 of them. Wait if you need to. Wait until you feel pretty good. And it would be like a bonus to consult someone. So I hope that's helpful. I know that's really specific, but sometimes the specific answers can really resonate. And group number 2, actually, they want a different guidance deck for you. So for you, we'll use the Shamanic Medicine. And these are some cards, y'all. Let me just let you know. So Spirit is also talking about getting really real about whatever the subject matter is. And I'm feeling like there's a strong need to talk about it verbally out loud. So if you're in a back and forth with someone and it's like texting or email, Spirit's letting you know it might really help to just call them or see them if you can. But that for some reason in this specific situation, talking out loud would be really helpful. And look at that water expression just came out for you. That's beautiful. Okay, I feel like there's one more. And I'm getting a really feminine vibe from this group. So if you're dealing with another person, I'm feeling a divine feminine presence there. That doesn't mean they have to be feminine or identify as feminine in their physical form, but energetically they feel very feminine to me. Okay, and then you also have staff, foundations. Okay. So spirits, if you're in group number 2, they're inviting you to go back to basics is the way they're saying it. Back to basics. We're building a foundation based on expression. And it feels really real and like a beautiful flow right from source. So they want to let you know that you're really connected this week, that you are really connected to Spirit. If you would like their help, you can invite them into a conversation you're having. You might have to have kind of an uncomfortable conversation this week. If that's the case, you can invite your spirit guides to speak through you during that time in a way that serves the highest good of everyone. And they're saying that will help you build a very strong foundation of trust and love, which is really beautiful. But at the end of the day, group number 2, you're represented here as the Queen of Pentacles, which is someone who receives wealth, who's very well off in their physical environment, which is really exciting. Maybe you'll treat yourself this week. Maybe you'll get your hair done or paint your nails or take a bath or get something that you really enjoy to eat. And also baking might be really kind of a spiritual experience for you as well, group number 2. If you haven't tried that, I definitely would. For some reason, they're showing you baking for some reason as a really healing activity. So I hope that resonates for group number 2. And I will see you next time. Okay, group number 3. If you chose the mottled or striped Lapis Lazuli here, let's get your week ahead message. All right. For group number 3, Spirit, what would be the most helpful message in their week going forward? I'm already feeling with group number 3, there's like a concern for something running out. That could be energy, time, money. There's a concern about some kind of resource not lasting as long as it should. So let's see what Spirit has to say about that. Okay, so first you have the Justice card, which I love this depiction. Look at the shadow, the reflection aspect. You have the 7 of Swords. Okay. 10 of Swords. Oh, good. Okay, and the 6 of Cups. That's a beautiful card to end on. So group number 3, if you are open to it, I'm going to hold your Kuya or your healing stone, and I'm going to warm it up with lots and love and light. So if you'd like to receive that, you can just say that out loud. I receive love and light from this reading. I can see that you are going through it mentally and emotionally. I can see some challenges going on. Maybe there's either an ending coming up or there's just been a painful ending, but Spirit wants to let you know this is really the end of it. It feels like there's something that has been, it's almost like, if you've heard the term false starts, this is like, involves false endings. So it's like something seems like it's concluded, but then it's not. Oh, maybe this time it'll be really over. Nope, it's not. Here it is again. No, this time we really, nope, here it is. And it's like this toxic kind of cycle. And with group number 3, I'm feeling like someone is really siphoning my energy and taking my energy. And I did want to clarify, or Spirit wants to clarify, when people are doing that, when they're siphoning energy from you, that is like 99.9% unconscious. So there's no need to be like, if you are frightened or concerned, there's no need for that. Just know that if somebody's doing that to you, it's unconscious. We could stop it for sure. It's really important to stop it. But just in case someone's in that situation, Spirit wants to throw that out there. And yeah, it just feels like this is really going to be the healing ending that you need. This is really going to end this time, and that justice will be served, and that things will be rebalanced here. So group number 3, I feel like you've really been doing your shadow work big time. So there you are down there with your eyes open, and in the physical world, in the conscious world, your eyes are closed, almost in like a peaceful stance. So I feel like with this ending, there will be an opportunity for you to do it in a way that's very peaceful. Maybe if this is a one-on-one situation, maybe it feels like the other party would not be willing to do that. But that's why you're in this situation, right? Because you're the one who's the light bringer. You're the one who's the light giver. You're the healer. You're the peacemaker. And Spirit wants to let you know that that's a sacred role, and that they're really, really happy that you're stepping into it. So that's a really beautiful message. And they also want to clarify, if for some reason this doesn't make sense right now, it will soon. So maybe there's a situation that will come up that will fit the bill for this one in group number 3. Also, they're talking about ancestors. So maybe there is a passed on loved one of yours that you talk to, group number 3, and they want to let you know that they are definitely hearing you and that they're there with you, assisting you on your journey, which is really beautiful. And then you have the 6 of Cups, which is a really beautiful card to end on. This is about childhood memories. This is about lifelong love, childlike love, inner child work. And I want you to see these together. So first there was this card, which is the ending, and then this is the new beginning right after. And you can see this through line here, this flow. And so they're reminding us that there's flow in everything, even if something feels really jarring and really abrupt, like, oh, why did that have to end like that? Or why did that have to happen? It is flowing continually right into something else that is even more beautiful and happy and vibrant than you can imagine right now. So let me get your guidance card, group number 3. And they're wanting me to use the Animal Spirit deck. So let's see what we've got. Okay, for group number 3, what other messages do we have here? Okay. We have the Beaver Spirit. Again, I believe he came out last week. So maybe you got the Beaver two weeks in a row. And also the Hawk. So Spirit with these wants to let you know, this is so sweet. Okay, so Spirit's talking about how much they admire your ability and tenacity to build something from the ground up. So that's a really specific message. Maybe that's for someone here. And they want to let you know that everybody loves being around you and working with you, that you have such a sweet attitude, someone who's really determined, really tough, gets it done, but with a smile on their face. Like I said last week, everybody loves being around a beaver. So that's a really beautiful energy that you are taking through this next week to help you with transitioning from this ending into a new beginning. And also with the Hawk Spirit, this is a special association that I personally have with the hawk. For me, it means Spirit saying it's time to talk. It's time for us to communicate. We're here and we have messages for you. So they want you to, especially for group number 3, in the week moving forward, pay attention to synchronicities. Pay attention to animal messengers. Pay attention to repeating signs. That's all Spirit. They're all there for you. And if you can, if you're familiar with this concept, make sure that you're having your spirit guide team meetings. So what you can do is set a time, or if you're more spontaneous about this like I am, sometimes you can go, hey Spirit, are you guys, can we talk right now? Is this a good time? And they'll let you know if it is. And then what you want to do when you structure these meetings is make time for yourself to speak to them, to your guides. This is what I'm dealing with. This is what I would love to receive help with. Here are my questions. I'd love to hear what you have to say. And then make equal time, at least equal, if not more time to listen and receive those messages, because Spirit is knocking at your door and they are really talking to you, and you will see it show up in many, many ways this week. So group number 3, those are your messages for the week ahead with the Lapis Lazuli. I hope that resonates, and I will see you next time. Okay, everybody. Connie says, love the hawk spirit. I do too. I see hawks around here a lot. And let's see. Dawn says, I am so number 3. Lola says, thank you for the quick answer. Awesome. Connie says, I just bought that stone. I know. I am so drawn to things that are this color. Anything in the world of like teal, turquoise is so me. So I totally feel you there. And Dawn says, I love animal messages. Tiffany says, thank you so much. So helpful. Great. I'm so glad that these messages are helpful. And thank you all for holding space for me as well. And again, I did have my medicine bundle open for this entire session. So just reaffirming that energy, that healing energy is being shared with all of you. And yeah, I know this was a little bit raw. It was a little bit different than how I usually am, but that's just how we humans are. We just are going through different things, and it's really important to not pretend that it's not happening. That's really important to me. So thank you for honoring me and my authenticity. I honor and recognize all of you with so much love and light. And I hope that moving forward in the week ahead, you take this energy, this vibrant, beautiful energy, knowing that Spirit is always with you and loving and holding you so, so very much. Okay, everybody take care. Sending so much love and light to you, and I will see you next week. Bye.